Before there was light, before there was time itself, before a single star hung in the sky or a single wave touched a shore, there was nothing but darkness and formless void. And into that nothing, a voice spoke, not a whisper, not a suggestion, a command that split darkness from a light and set into motion 6 days that would create everything we have ever known. The sky above us, the ground beneath our feet, every living creature, and finally you and me. This is the story of creation, and it begins with 3 simple, world-shattering words. To understand how extraordinary this moment was, we have to understand what came before it, which was nothing at all. No sun, no stars, no sound because there was no air to carry it, no color because there was no light to reveal it. The earth was, in the words of Scripture, without form and void, and darkness was over the face of the deep. This wasn't simply an empty room waiting to be furnished. This was the complete absence of everything. Space itself waiting to be filled, time itself waiting to begin ticking. And hovering over the surface of the waters, unseen and unheard, was the Spirit of God, present in the silence, waiting for the first word to be spoken. Then God said, "Let there be light," and there was light. In an instant, the darkness that had covered everything was broken, not by a sun, not yet, but by light itself, called into existence purely by the power of a spoken word. God saw that the light was good, and he separated the light from the darkness, calling the light day and the darkness night. This was the very first rhythm ever established in creation. Evening and morning, the first day, a pattern that every living thing on earth would depend on for the rest of history, long before there was a sun to mark it. On the second day, God spoke again, separating the waters above from the waters below, creating an expanse he called sky, where before there had only been formless water stretching in every direction. Now there was structure, a vast open space, a ceiling and a floor to what would soon become the world. It was a quiet day compared to what came before and after, but it was essential. Before there could be dry land, before there could be rain to water it, there first had to be sky to hold everything in its proper place. On the third day, God gathered the waters below the sky into one place, and dry ground appeared for the very first time. He called the dry ground land, and the waters he called seas. And God saw that it was good. But he wasn't finished. That same day, God spoke again, and the land burst into life. Vegetation of every kind, seed-bearing plants, fruit trees bearing fruit according to their kinds, spreading across the newly formed ground. In a single day, the earth went from empty rock and water to a world covered in green, every plant carrying within itself the seed for the next generation, a self-sustaining cycle of life built into creation from its very first moments. On the fourth day, God set 2 great lights in the newly formed sky. The greater light to govern the day, and the lesser light to govern the night. He placed the sun to warm the earth and mark the seasons, the moon to reflect gentle light through the darkness, and scattered stars across the vast expanse above, more than any human eye could ever count. These weren't just decorations in the sky. They were markers for seasons, for days, for years, a cosmic clock set into motion that would guide every calendar and every harvest for the rest of human history. On the 5th day, God turned his attention to the waters and the sky, and spoke life into being once more. The seas filled with creatures of every kind, from the smallest fish darting through coral to massive sea creatures moving through the deep. The sky filled with birds of every kind, wings spread wide, filling the air with movement and song for the very first time. God blessed them, telling them to be fruitful and multiply, to fill the waters and the skies. What had been silent and empty just days before was now alive with motion, sound, and color in every direction. On the 6th day, God filled the land with creatures of every kind, livestock, wild animals, and everything that creeps along the ground, each one according to its kind. But then, God did something he had not done on any of the previous 5 days. He paused, and he said, "Let us make mankind in our image, in our likeness." This was different from everything that came before. Every other creature had been spoken into existence with a word. But humanity was formed with intention, with likeness to God himself, given the responsibility to rule over the fish of the sea, the birds of the sky, and every living creature that moves on the ground. God formed the man from the dust of the ground and breathed into his nostrils the breath of life, and the man became a living being. Then God created woman, and the two of them together bore the very image of their Creator. God blessed them, and God saw everything that he had made, and indeed, it was very good. By the 7th day, God had finished the work he had been doing, and he rested from all his work, not because he was tired. The God who spoke galaxies into existence does not grow weary, but because rest itself was part of the design. God blessed the 7th day and made it holy, setting a pattern that would echo through every generation that followed. 6 days of labor, and 1 day set apart for rest, for reflection, for stepping back and recognizing the goodness of what had been made. Even in this smallest detail, God was teaching something essential about how life was meant to be lived. The story of creation isn't simply an explanation of how the world began. It's a declaration of intention. Nothing about this world happened by accident. Light, sky, land, sea, sun, moon, stars, every living creature, and finally, humanity itself. Each was spoken into being deliberately, and each was called good. And you, specifically, were the final work of that 6th day, made not from a careless afterthought, but formed in the very image of the one who made galaxies with a word. In a world that often tells us we are the product of randomness, the creation story tells a different truth. You were intended. You were formed with purpose. And just as God rested on the 7th day to enjoy what he had made, he delights in you. Not for what you produce or accomplish, but simply because you bear his image. Whatever chaos or formlessness you may feel in your own life right now, the same God who spoke order out of nothing is still in the business of bringing light into darkness. If this story reminded you that you were made on purpose, for a purpose, subscribe to Stone and Sling and join us as we bring these ancient stories to life, one video at a time. Which story should we tell next? Let us know in the comments below.